week's Creative Control. I am your host, Patrick Lilly. With me tonight as we go over the WWE Draft that is coming up in the fall, I've got Ryan Alvarez, who apparently isn't going to speak, and the host of the PWO WrestleCast, Matthew.
Hello. I'm taking some draft notes, guys. Okay, my board is huge here. Okay,
too busy preparing for the draft.
Yeah, I have the hugest board. I have the hugest board of them all.
This is for tonight. I think we are calling him Ryan Schefter.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyways, welcome to the show, guys. As I mentioned, we are going to have our own draft. Get people excited about the potential of a draft this fall, probably coming right after SummerSlam. I'm going to kick it over to Ryan to give you the details on how this thing's going to work.
Excellent. So this hasn't been confirmed that NXT will be a part of the draft, but with the copious amounts of releases that have been happening, it's widely speculated that it will. So Matt will be representing Raw, Pat will be representing SmackDown, and I will be representing NXT. All champions and their respective championships are not eligible. They are protected. That means everybody else is eligible. Everybody from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, NXT UK, 205 Live. They are all eligible. Matt, did you have a question?
I just wanted to say that is our current champions. This is recorded right after Hell in a Cell. We waited to do our mock draft and fill it up right after Hell in a Cell. So these are all up to date as of June 23rd, 2021.
Correct. I appreciate that. So we initially decided on 10 rounds. Then, we wanted to do some extras. So we have a total of 12 rounds. And this is in no way, shape, or form anything like that John Cena movie. So it's kind of a snake draft. You'll kind of get the way we're doing it as we go. But essentially, in the odd numbered rounds, Raw starts and Raw ends that round with a pick. They are the 3-hour show. So we decided it was fair. That's how they've been doing it. So that's what we were going to go with. So the even number rounds, it'll just be backwards. So like I said, once we get into a couple rounds, you'll kind of understand how we're doing it. Tag teams and stables count as one pick. And then within the first 10 rounds, 5 of those picks must be either a tag team, a stable, or a women's talent. The 10 rounds was just because we decided on 10 rounds initially, then moved to 12. So, but that is it. Everything else goes. I am really excited for this.
Yeah, this should be a lot of fun. If nothing else, we get to put together some scenarios you probably won't be seeing on the TV going forward, but we're going to have some fun with it. And with that, I will kick it to Matt, who has the first pick in the draft.
With the first pick in the WWE Draft, Monday Night Raw selects NXT's Hit Row. That is the combination of Isaiah Swerve Scott, Ashanti The Adonis, Top Dollar AJ Francis, and B-Fab. I'm pretty happy with that pick. On to SmackDown with pick 2.
All right, we are going in the same line as Matt was with a stable, but we are going after Legado del Fantasma, which of course is headlined by future world champion Santos Escobar and the tag team of Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde. NXT now has the third pick in the draft.
Yeah, and my direction with my draft has been make NXT great again. You remember, the superstars of yesteryear, that have had great success, but have now gone onto the main roster to absolutely crap the bed, or they are dwindling in the undercard. So my first round pick coming back to NXT, that is Keith Lee. We are going to figure out a way to get his old music back. We are going to get him out of that stupid 2-color singlet, whatever they dressed him up in. We're going to get him back to old Keith Lee. We're going to let him go. We're going to let him run roughshod all over NXT. Now back to Raw for their second pick of round 1.
Yeah, for the last pick of round 1, Monday Night Raw selects the $1 million champion, L.A. Knight. Now, I know what you're saying. He's a champion, but it's more of a secondary prop necessarily than an actual champion. That's kind of the swerve we've been getting here. Exactly. So, of course, Monday Night Raw is going to grab L.A. Knight because he's perfect for the brand.
All right, so that closes the first round. As Ryan said, we are snaking this draft, so instead of going back to SmackDown to open up the second round, NXT has another pick.
Excellent. Sticking with the new directive that we are going for on NXT, bringing it back. He is coming back. We don't have to hear that stupid gunshot at the opening of his intro music. It is Ricochet. Tired of him being the main event on main event. He is capable of so much more. He can work with pretty much anybody. I'm glad he's currently in real life getting a rub, but nothing as what we're going to do on NXT for him. So snaking back to SmackDown with their second round pick.
Okay, so as I foreshadowed, Santos Escobar going to be a future world champion. Legado del Fantasma is ready to take on the table, but they might need a little bit more firepower. So to add to the Phantasma stable, I'm picking Angel Garza. I'm going to bring Angel Garza in to be the worker champ level contender in this stable, add him to the mix, and really, really strengthen that stable to be the headliners of SmackDown.
Love it.
And that will bring up Raw's pick for the second round.
So other than elevating new talent and bringing some new faces over to Raw that you probably haven't seen before, we're going to also grab some talent who haven't had a chance or maybe just need a change up. And the first man on that for us is the king of strong style himself, Shinsuke Nakamura. I think maybe we start putting him a little higher up on our card. And with that, guys, if you don't mind, can I just go ahead and start round 3?
You can.
Wonderful. So with Raw's first pick in round 3, speaking of people who were trying to elevate and we're going to make our women's roster a lot stronger, we are taking NXT UK's Kaylee Ray. She's a big pick. She's someone who I think we could work a whole lot around. She's just coming off of being, I think, the longest reigning champion besides her and Walter in the modern era of professional wrestling. So I'm all about Kaylee Ray. She's fantastic.
Good pick. To continue the trend of picking guys that can work in the ring and need to be elevated, we are going to go, SmackDown's going with Damian Priest in the third round. He's going to be another future star here of the blue brand. NXT.
Excellent. So with NXT third round pick, this is half half because both these individuals have been in very popular tag teams. Their initial tag teams have both been split up on the main roster. So come on back to NXT. We'll rebuild you. I'm talking about the Academy. That is the team of Chad Gable and Otis, which we will give him back his last name. Yeah, and I actually like the Francis look that Otis Dozovich has going on right now. I'm very excited for that.
Shaved beards for Otis.
Love it. Shaved beards for Otis.
Can't do it.
Chad Gable's a dude. He is one of the more underrated workers on the main roster at the moment. The dude can flat out go. So we're gonna bring him back, and we're gonna push them in our tag division.
Finishing out our third round here, we are dedicated to tag team wrestling, but also we want to be competitive and we want to bring back the women's tag titles to Monday Night Raw. And we're going to do that with the hopes of drafting Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart, two incredible female talents that we can use both in singles competition and tag team. And it's already there.
For a second, I thought you were going to try and pick my women's champions. I remind you that they are protected.
For now.
All right, and that completes the third round. So, fourth round, we're starting up with NXT.
The next round is now. So I'm just going to piggyback off of Matt's female tag team initiative. It's a tit for tat here. You take one of my tag teams, I'm coming for one of yours. I'm talking about the team of Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke is, I think, underutilized on the main roster ever since she's been called up. She's extremely athletic. Mandy Rose is not a terrible in-ring worker herself. And to go with that, I think that her being on NXT, she could get some more work at the Performance Center. The CWC is very close, so we could definitely fine-tune some of that in-ring work. So passing it to SmackDown for the next pick.
So recently, SmackDown took a big hit to the roster with the retirement of Daniel Bryan. So with this pick, we're kind of looking to fill the hole that Daniel Bryan left. And we are going to select Pete Dunne as the new mat technician of Friday nights.
Ooh.
Fantastic pick.
People are just snatching my guys up left and right here. I'm not too thrilled about this.
It's not going to get much better, my friend. I apologize.
Okay.
But you do get to get out of this round without me grabbing another one, because we're talking about a man who I think definitely needs a new life and new opportunity on a new show. We are bringing KO back to Monday nights. Kevin Owens, premier athlete. I think we've done just about everything we can with him on SmackDown. So maybe we can find some new opportunities for him on Mondays. And I'll just go ahead and start it right now for the Raw's first pick. In the fifth round, I am taking the tag team, the Grizzled Young Veterans. I think they do a lot on NXT, but I think maybe we can do a little bit more on Monday for them. And
I like that pick. That was definitely a tag team that I was eyeing for down the line. I was not expecting them to go so high. So in the interest of that, we're going to actually shift to our women's division and pick the top young woman in NXT, Io Shirai. Ryan Alvarez is having a fit right now. He had to mute himself.
More than deserved. People taking my talent right and left. You know what? This is not the time for retaliatory dues here. All right. I am going across the pond for my next pick, and that would be in the fifth round. I will be taking the team of Trent Seven and Tyler Bate. That would be Mustache Mountain. And this was kind of a loophole that we had decided prior to the draft. The Heritage Cup has a particular set of rules, just like the 24/7 title. So if somebody wanted Akira Tozawa, that has a particular set of rules. We're going to let it happen. So Mustache Mountain, we're rebuilding the tag division. We've just lost Grizzled Young Vets. We've lost Hit Row. So, and we've lost Legado del Fantasma. So, the Academy is not enough. We have to be at the pinnacle here. We get Mustache Mountain. Boy, and to kick it back over to Raw with their second pick in round 5. Please don't take any more of my people.
It's okay. All I ask is that when you book the tickets for Mustache Mountain, add 3 more. Because with our next pick, Monday Night Raw selects the stable known as Gallus. That is Joe and Mark Coffey and Wolfgang. Incredible talent, utilized everywhere. Joe Coffey's a main eventer on most shows that he's on. Incredible tag team use all over the place. And maybe someone we can have feud with a earlier first-round pick. Very happy with that one. To the 6th round.
That's back to me over here at NXT. And Matt, you have a tag team over there I have had my eye on. They've had quite the experience on Raw. So we're bringing them back to NXT. We're giving them their name back. They will be Hanson and Rowe. They will be the War Raiders back on NXT. This is a no-brainer pick for us. I think out of all the tag teams that have been drafted, they are probably the best in-ring talents. And I know that is debatable. But as far as their work on NXT in the past, it's been nothing short of phenomenal. So hopefully we can start to get some of that back. And let's not forget, they were both singles guys when they were both in Ring of Honor. So if we really need them to take some singles matches, we can definitely have them do that. On to SmackDown for their 6th round pick.
It's so obvious. As we continue to build the women's division and we make it the best women's division in wrestling, I have to add the queen, Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, it's a great pick.
That one hurts.
That will bring up Raw.
That one hurts. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That one hurts. That hurts, but that's okay.
We were pleasantly surprised the night of Hell in a Cell that she did not win the title and that she would be eligible in this draft. She was not expected to be on her. She wasn't on our initial board as we expected her to win the women's title. So SmackDown is stealing the queen.
Well, that is a blow to Monday Night Raw. That is. But we are still dedicating time to our tag team division, and we need premier talent that will inspire audiences to get up, get out, come buy some tickets. And I think the only way to do that is to have a party in the audience. That's by drafting the Street Profits to Monday Night Raw. Like I said, dedicated to our tag team division here. We are bolstering up. And do you guys mind if I just go ahead and start number 7?
Have at it.
Round 7, my first round pick, a man who I think has done just about everything but win the world title itself, which he should have the possibility of happening on Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw with the first pick in the 7th round draft, Cesaro. Incredible worker.
Big pick right there.
It's back to you, SmackDown.
SmackDown, we're playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers because she's been off TV for a while, but she's about to be back.
You nasties.
Like I said, no, wrong. We're going with to lock up the best women's division in wrestling. We're going with no one other than the man, Becky Lynch. We are guaranteeing the rights to her, even though she's off television right now.
Excellent. Well, I'm bringing back, and this is my 7th round pick. I am bringing back a former NXT champion with a win over Shinsuke Nakamura in a world title match. Probably one of the better theme songs on the current Monday Night Raw brand. It is the glorious Bobby Roode. Okay. I think his heel work is pretty darn good. And the fact that, we're losing some strong heels. We've lost Hit Row, LA Knight, Santos Escobar. Pete Dunne is currently a heel. We're losing some really strong heels, and I think Robert Roode is a guy that has some good in-ring talent. He can come on and be immediately inserted anywhere on the card, be a strong heel for us. Enough of that dirty dog BS. I just split that up. So with that, back to Raw for their second 7th round pick, and I assume this will be some form of retaliation.
Just lost Charlotte. We just lost Becky. We have to draft a women's wrestler here, and we have to draft someone, I think, young that we can strap to the moon. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm dying a little bit. I think it's Tony time on Monday Night Raw. We are drafting Toni Storm.
Solid pick.
I think she could do very well on our roster. I know she hasn't really had the opportunities to be a main player in NXT, but without Charlotte and without Becky, we're going to need some main players.
Okay.
So we're saying it back to NXT with the 8th round.
Starting off the 8th round, I'm a little surprised this individual wasn't taken before Toni Storm, but there is reckoning afoot. Everyone, reckoning is coming to NXT. We are giving her name back. It's Mia Yim. I think she was horribly miscast during her time in both NXT and on the main roster. So I think, with the experience of being up on the main roster, she'll come back to NXT. We will find a home for her. We've lost some women's talent over the last few rounds. So Toni Storm was nailed in the coffin. I couldn't let this talent fall any further. So I'm taking a SmackDown talent. So what better time to transition to SmackDown's 8th round pick?
Goal for SmackDown ultimately is to be the best wrestling show. We want the best wrestlers. We want the best workers. And you can't have that sort of show without Finn Balor, who is our next pick.
That's a fantastic pick. We're going to need to add additional rankings here for our men's roster now. We focus a lot on our tag team roster. We focus a lot on our women's roster. Unfortunately, the team of the Dirty Dogs have been separated, one to NXT, and Dolph Ziggler is coming to Monday Night Raw, a former world champion who is very credible and gives a lot of credibility to many of the roster, should they be able to beat him. And I'm going to start right on off with round 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Round 9, you're going to start seeing the youth movement that we've already kind of set in place here. With the first pick in the round 9, Monday Night Raw selects Noam Dar, talented in-ring worker who is very young, and we continue to push for years to come.
That's an interesting pick because he's not a guy that's really all that well known. He had some 205 time. And he went back to UK. So that's interesting. It's an interesting pick, man. I'm interested to see how that would play out. SmackDown's lost a couple of tag teams, and while we have added Phantasma's tag team to the ranks, we don't want to neglect the tag team, and we're the stable brand right now. So we're going to reunite the stable of the New Day, bringing Kofi and Xavier Woods back over with Big E. and really fortify our tag team division.
Great pick.
Great pick.
NXT.
The 9th round. Yeah, I was kind of looking across my board here, trying to see what talent we could, reinvigorate. Retribution's dead. We have 2 guys on Monday Night Raw at the moment, kind of whittling away. One could potentially be world champion material. The team I am picking is formerly known as Mace and T-Bar, will come to NXT from Raw to be Dio Madden and Dominic Dijakovic. We don't have to directly inject Keith Lee into the main event scene, and neglect the talent that we currently are keeping and hanging around. This is an immediate feud, an immediate barn burner of a match we can have between Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic. Dio Madden is a very interesting prospect. I'll be very interested to see maybe if we can get him into an AJ Francis-esque role, the way he's playing Top Dollar in Hit Row. But very excited with a rising star and a rising prospect. So Matt, this is your second pick of round 9.
With our second pick of round 9, we're going to go with someone who you probably have not heard of. And that's just being honest. He's only been having main matches, I believe, since March in NXT UK. But his vignette, his character work, and his promo work has been second to none, if I'm being honest with you. With the last pick of round 9, Monday Night Raw drafts Teoman from NXT UK. You might know him as a Pretty Lucky Kid.
Very interesting pick.
Yeah, that's not what I expected. That's not a guy I know a ton about, to be totally honest. Matt going deep into the bag of tricks there to get one up on us, it looks like.
Well, I think being able to introduce talent that isn't known on the USA Network or on Fox gives us the benefit of adjusting anything we might need to. So
that's the perks to that extra hour. You don't necessarily need all front line right at the beginning here.
Exactly. I can afford to build some guys for the future, not necessarily for today. But I think the match levels will be fantastic, and the character work that hopefully we can portray correctly on Monday Night Raw will be fantastic to build this man into a superstar.
Ryan was just taking a call, and he is starting us off in round 10. Let's see maybe what he got from his sources there.
Yeah. I am surprised, first of all, at the Teoman pick. My sources have told me he's a young guy, a lot of experience, so it's a great pick. But then the second part of that was there's a guy on Smackdown right now who just picked up a big win at Hell in a Cell. He's been a part of a conspiracy. We're going to bring him back as the underdog from the underground. I'm talking about Mr. Sami Zayn. I believe he still has tread on the tires. He can fully deliver not only on the mic, but in the ring as well. And I feel like without having to give him the conspiracy gimmick and just let him go, I think this is the best direction for his character. That
one hurt a lot.
I'm sure something's coming.
As we know, I'm a big Sami Zayn guy. We're here in round 10. I thought I was maybe gonna not only win the draft because I had the best picks, but because I'm sneaking away with some talent that I was expecting to be drafted already. So I guess I was too soon on that thought process. But unfortunately, I now have to replace a main eventer because my SmackDown, Sami Zayn, was going to be a main eventer. And I only see one guy left on my board that can fill that role and maybe even take it to a higher level. We're going to give the people what they want. And that's Adam Cole, baby. We're bringing Adam Cole up to the main roster where he has the ability to be the biggest star on the biggest night of wrestling, which is Friday nights, the work rate show. We have a ton of guys that Adam Cole can feud with, and that's gonna bring us another guy that's really just gonna be able to main event any night of the week. So
strong pick. That one hurts a lot.
Well, it's really funny to me that you picked Adam Cole, because my next pick actually just recently wrestled him on NXT. With only 2 matches on the black and yellow brand, Monday Night Raw drafts Carmelo Hayes.
Wow.
If you can't look at this wrestler and see dollars, you're looking in all the wrong places. Incredible in-ring work, fantastic on the mic, and honestly, could just be the total package. He could be just the guy we need to help build up on our very young talent that we're trying to push, and maybe help lead the future when we are unfortunately losing many of our members on the roster who are nearing retirement.
a lot of talent in that 10th round.
A lot of it. And I am not stopping. With the first round pick in the 11th round, we still need someone who can live up to the name Charlotte Flair or Becky Lynch. So we have to turn towards the horsewoman itself. Monday Night Raw selects Bayley.
Solid.
That's a really good pick, and it's a hit to my women's division. So at this point, I'm just going to be petty. And if you're going to take Bayley, I'm going to have to go and get Shayna Baszler to fill her spot on my women's division.
While you're doing that, do you want Reginald as well?
I don't want Reginald. And I don't want Nia either. You can keep them.
NXT, your pick?
Oh, yeah. So you snatched up Shayna Baszler before I could get to her. Had big plans for her. That's okay. There's another Raw talent that I think is just sitting there waiting to show off how much of an athlete he is and how much Big Swole will rub off on him. I'm talking about Cedric Alexander. We do have the Cruiserweight Championship on NXT. I think he could be more than that potentially, and I think that he did his best work, kind of around this dead period that he was in. When he was in the Cruiserweight division, he was doing great work. The Hurt Business, he was doing great work. They really dropped the ball by breaking up the Hurt Business. So you know what? Come to NXT. We'll let you show off whatever you got. So I'm going to pass it back to Matt. This is it's the second pick in round 11.
We're being petty. You took Shayna Baszler. I'll take Liv Morgan. I think she's an incredibly talented, young female wrestler that could be big given enough time. She's got a big following already and fans. I think we can promote this. So take it to the 12th. We start with Ryan.
Yeah, so this is my last pick of these selection rounds. And this one, I'm coming straight for SmackDown. You took Legado, you took Pete Dunne, you took Io Shirai, Finn Balor, Adam Cole. And I noticed a few picks ago, you brought the New Day back over. That would be Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston. So for no reason at all, but just to be petty, and that I'm bringing Big E to NXT. Now,
champion.
here's the thing. Correct. He's a former NXT champion. So, Big E can do fantastic things. He can work as a face or heel. He is an excellent face of the brand moving forward. I am excited to see what we can do with him, and it's a real stick it to SmackDown.
Not gonna lie, I was hoping when I said I was reuniting New Day that you guys would just overlook the fact that he was still eligible to be drafted.
Yeah, if you wouldn't have said Big E, it wouldn't have triggered something.
Backfired on me. I was hoping that you guys would consider him untouchable.
Oh gosh.
Tried it. I tried it. I lost.
Well, SmackDown, it's your pick.
So I have the best men's and women's divisions in singles competition, in my opinion. I've already kind of locked that up.
Okay.
But
check this guy out.
But I'm really lacking another frontline tag team. And if we're bringing in workers, I only see one way to go with this pick. And it's Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory, the male side of the Way faction. I can't bring Candice and Indy with them as they are currently the NXT Women's Championship. I'd love to have the whole stable as I've been collecting stables tonight, but I will take the male tag team side of it and bring up the Way tag team. So the last pick in the 12th round and the draft goes to Raw, and we're going to close out with Mr. or Mrs. or Team Irrelevant here.
It is a team. It's a tag team.
Tag team.
Tag team. And I look at my draft picks here, and we have a lot of very serious groups here. We have a very, very strong division, in my opinion. I think we need a little bit of utility on our roster. But I also don't want to go Breezango. We've seen that. We've done that. We've been there. We need some new talent. We need a pair of two young guys who are just always on the rise. I want to take Everrise as the last pick of the draft.
Are you sure this just wasn't a stick it to me? Are you sure?
Well, you did hurt me a little bit when you took Cedric from me. But I actually see a lot of upside with these two young boys. So I think they can get a lot of use out of them being funny, out of them maybe turning it up a notch, getting serious. Maybe we have some singles careers out of here. Oh no, we'll find out on Monday Night Raw.
I just want to make note that there were 13 picks that you guys made that included my roster, which means there was talent. It was just brutally misused by the former regime. Just throwing that out there, taking all my talent.
Is that including UK NXT?
So I wanted to take Ilya Dragunov at one point in this, and I don't think he needs to be NXT USA exclusive. And I think that there's still some work to be done there with the Reign General Walter. So I left him off the board. I could always bring him over just as Imperium is on our roster at the moment. But that was my view on it.
I would have loved to draft Imperium, but I feel like it's incomplete without Walter.
Mm.
So I couldn't, in the right mind, do that.
That's okay. He can come down next to.
Yeah, if Walter was available, we decided before the draft that he would not be draft eligible, even though UK didn't have a draft. Imperium with Walter would have been my first pick as well. I think
Easily.
Walter is the biggest untapped star in WWE because he wants to stay in Europe, but he would be immediately the top star of whatever brand he would like to go to. He would go to if he was willing to go there.
So guys, we're looking at our 12 rounds. We're looking at there, and there's still some work to be done. I feel like there are a few trades that we can make. So,
yeah, there's some people I need to shake my roster up with a bit, and there's people I didn't have the chance to draft that I'd like to take a swing at.
So you at home, give us a moment while we convene, and we'll be back with the trades. All right. Thank you for giving us the time to convene. So we have 7 trades that we decided after our 12 rounds of fury here. So the first one we'll look at is between Raw and NXT. Raw gives up Mustafa Ali and Jackson Riker, and NXT gives up Ridge Holland. Matt, any thoughts on that trade on your side?
I think first and foremost, Mustafa Ali deserves a chance to shine, and unfortunately, I don't think Raw is the show to do that. Him moving to NXT is fantastic, not only for NXT but for Ali. As for Ridge Holland, I think maybe our time in NXT is cursed, and we need to get out. I really like the upside of Ridge Holland. I'm not sure whether or not he'll stay a singles wrestler, or maybe he will start in with a group that we form on Monday Night Raw, but I think there's a lot of upside for him. So we're very excited to take Ridge Holland.
Agreed. Yeah, we're excited to take Mustafa Ali. There's a lot of upside there. Mic work, in-ring work, and I think that Jackson Riker is definitely a solid mid-card guy for us. Trade number 2, that will be between myself, NXT. That'll be a common theme here. I like to wheel and deal. And Smackdown.
I am a big proponent of trades, but I don't want to waste my time.
Exactly.
Let's deal some big names.
Yes.
And let's make it both shows better. That's what I feel like I was able to orchestrate with this deal.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to acquire Tommaso Ciampa and Franky Monet, formerly known to most people as Taya Valkyrie, to add her to my women's division and add Ciampa to our work rate, show that we want. And I was able to send Baron Corbin and Sasha Banks to NXT, and I'll let you talk about them being acquired.
Yeah, I didn't do a whole lot of dealing in the women's side of things because little known fact about NXT, there is a ton of women's talent that is just not being utilized and not being projected to you that well. So I felt that bringing on the boss, while for her, I don't know if there's a whole lot of work to be done for her in NXT. It's definitely a name that can definitely elevate some of this younger talent. And then Baron Corbin, I think just in the same breath as Matt was talking about Ridge Holland, I think that Baron Corbin can do a reboot on NXT, and in the same breath with Robert Roode. Both guys are heels that have good in-ring work. And while we hate to deal Tommaso Ciampa, an NXT mainstay, I'm not as high on Franky Monet as some of my other colleagues. So I thought that this was a great deal for everyone.
Now the next deal, this was the big, in my opinion, this was the big deal. This was the biggest deal of the day. All of us had some pieces that we argued with each other trying to acquire. So it took a 3-team trade here. And follow me on this. I'm going to give all the details, and then I will allow each of us to explain why they wanted what they acquired. So in a 3-team deal, Raw acquired Tian Shaw and Killian Dane. NXT acquires Edge, Drew Gulak, Mansoor, and Humberto Carrillo. And SmackDown was able to acquire Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss. So I'll start. And what I immediately wanted these two, one, because there is a hot storyline going on with Wyatt and Bliss. But two, I really eventually would like to bring Bray Wyatt back to the swamp. Make Bray Wyatt swampy again. That's what I want. I think that the Southern Cult leader gimmick was one of the best crafted gimmicks. They were the best vignettes probably in the last 10 years. Just fantastic heel work that now that we've let him do the Fiend for a while, Alexa can kind of take that and run with it, or we can find some sort of way to exorcise that demon and pretend like he's gone forever. And Alexa Bliss is an incredible talent regardless of what she's doing. She's doing great character work with this Alexa, this version of Alexa. She's a classic heel in every sense of the word when she's not doing this Fiend work. And frankly, she's one of the most likable women on the roster when you see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. So she's capable of being a babyface. I just think she's an incredible talent. And as we are committed to having the best women's division, Alexa Bliss really puts a cherry on top of what we've been able to acquire today with Charlotte, Io, Becky, and Taya Valkyrie.
I'll take it from there if you don't.
Hold on. Alexa, off.
Off.
Sorry.
You said it, and then it triggered mine.
It triggered mine too, yeah.
So I'll take you there for Monday Night Raw if you guys don't mind. As many of you know, I'm very big on Tian Shaw. I think this is an incredible group. We are getting both Mei Xia Li, and Boa. And as much as it pains me to lose Bray Wyatt and to lose Alexa Bliss on Monday Night Raw, I think both of them, similar to what we said earlier with another superstar in a trade, deserve the opportunity to be their most successful, and I just don't see them being able to get the time and focus that they deserve on Monday Night Raw. And I think we don't want to over spooky things. I think Tian Shaw is spooky enough for one little bit. And Killian Dane, I think, is just such a utility piece. I can have him working with Nikki Cross. I can have him maybe working with or against Gallus. I can have him be a strong cornerstone in any mid-card title. And if he works his way up well enough and he shows that he can be the top guy, who's to say Killian Dane can't be a world champion on Monday Night Raw?
He definitely has the look of someone that could be elevated to that level.
I think with the right pieces and the right focus, we can get there.
And NXT, you got the big haul here. What are you?
Call it what you will. My big piece for this, you would think that it was Edge, but it's actually Drew Gulak. Drew Gulak has an immense amount of upside. He can do the comedic bit. He can do the serious mat wrestler. Take for example his time on SmackDown with Daniel Bryan. Mansoor is a good utility piece. He's a good guy for 205. Humberto Carrillo, good guy for 205. Good guy to elevate on NXT every week. And I know I only get Edge for I don't know 3 to 4 matches a year. Is that correct?
Something like
I can list 5 right now that'll be the main event. There is potential there. There are storylines to be had with Edge. I would have liked to keep Adam Cole versus Edge. I think that's a dream match for a lot of people. But I feel like this was kind of the salary cap dump of the 3-team trade. Like the one you give to the rebuilding team that just needs pieces. But getting Edge for 3 matches a year and Gulak made this whole trade worth it.
The next trade that was made was we had sent Matt Riddle to NXT for 2 stars known as August Gray and Curt Stallion. I have very big plans for those guys. Maybe a future stable of their own, but they just need a ringleader or someone who they could work with them. I'm very excited to acquire August Gray and Curt Stallion.
Yeah. I'm not personally a huge fan of Riddle, but I prefer Matt Riddle's work in NXT to Riddle's work on the main roster. So we're going to give Riddle his first name back. So he's going to be Matt Riddle again. If the Velveteen Dream can stay on NXT for as long as he did, Matt Riddle can have his name back. Not going to get into that. But he is an exceptional athlete. There's no doubt about it. He'll be a nice complimentary piece to us on NXT. So I'll just jettison myself into the next trade that NXT and Raw have made. NXT gives up Tyler Rust. And in return, NXT gets Lacey Evans and Shelton Benjamin coming to the yellow brand. What does Tyler Rust mean to your roster, Matt?
Very similar to August Gray and Curt Stallion, and this was already hinted at with the last trade here. I really think these 3 men could work together to form a stable. We have young, talented guys who have just shown up, and we want to put them right on the map. We already said we're very interested in a youth movement. I think having these 3 men working together is a very big motion. I was kind of surprised. I thought they were going to end up being the Diamond Mine, but unfortunately, only one of the guys who I had in there ended up being there. I'm very excited to see more of Tyler Rust on NXT, but I very much so like the idea of these 3 men. We just made it a mouthpiece.
Yeah, I was surprised that you accepted this deal because I think Lacey Evans is an above average women's worker. I do think she needs some seasoning. Shelton Benjamin, though, his work rate has always been impressive. Even where he is at his stage in his career, I think this is an incredible get for NXT. I think he could almost have kind of that Tommaso Ciampa effect where he's an older talent who is, battling a, younger talent and, getting them over in the process.
Also be a perfect fit to add to the Alpha Academy if you wanted to make them a stable.
Exactly. And, Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable already have that tag team history there. So
a healthier Tommaso Ciampa. There's no neck injury on this one.
Yes, correct. Matt, I'll let you take the next trade.
Yeah, so SmackDown, you and I had a little bit of business. Nothing too crazy here. Tozawa for Rick Boogs.
Yeah, I don't need a guitar player with Shinsuke Nakamura not here anymore. And I happily will take Tozawa. He brings a 24/7 title, which is a fun little bitch, but the worker that Tozawa is, and the ability to allow him to get back to some real wrestling, I think is really the key here, because he can go and he can be a valuable asset to our mid card going forward.
Honestly, I'm just a big fan of Rick Boogs. I think the man is correct, has all the charisma in the world. He has a great look. He's an incredible strength trainer. I think give him a little bit more time. Maybe we can have some more fun there. But, we have someone to fill out our comedic spot on the roster while also maybe being able to push for a future serious role.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe one trade left.
Yes, last trade here. And then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of this whole thing. NXT acquires Riddick Moss, R-Truth, and Reginald, who Matt has been trying to get rid of for literally this entire draft. In exchange for only one piece. Matt, who is that?
That is Malcolm Bivens. He's a manager. I just said earlier we need a mouthpiece, but more so than anything, I think Malcolm Bivens is an incredibly underrated talent who should have been on TV for way too long by now. Unfortunately, I think he's been in the rough situation of talent that he's been with, being a part of some stupid decisions or unfortunately getting injured. But I think he is maybe the next big manager in professional wrestling. I think he's incredibly underrated. I just don't want to use a draft pick for him.
Yeah, and we were more than happy to take Reginald, who has shown his athleticism, kind of shown a little bit of that charisma. We're going to get him to the PC right away. We're going to hone in on that. Hopefully he can be a complimentary piece to us on 205. Riddick Moss is already an established, if you want to call him a veteran. He's won the 24/7 title a handful of times. Just a good kind of mid-card floater. And R-Truth, you can put him anywhere. Not as, fluid as he was in the TNA NWA days of old, but an absolutely comedic gem to what I think is rounding out a pretty serious professional wrestling program we're going to have on Tuesday nights.
That's it for our trades.
Yeah. So
the roster moves. So now we have totally new rosters.
Yeah, everybody's got a brand new roster. So take a look at your rosters. And I guess we'll start off with Raw, being as they are they have the record for the most weekly episodic shows. So what are your immediate plans for your roster?
Oh man, immediately, and that's where this gets very hard, but we have to recognize that we're trying to move in a very big direction here. Our main event scene is a little dry. It's a little dry at this moment. Unfortunately, Drew McIntyre can't challenge while Bobby Lashley's champion. Bobby Lashley is a fantastic talent who I don't want to take the belt off of at this moment, but maybe down the road. So we need to bring in some top talent to face off with Drew McIntyre. We need to bring in some new title contenders, which is why you see men like Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, Dolph Ziggler. I think Ziggler would be a good middle feud, making fun of McIntyre here. LA Knight, I don't want to put in the world title picture immediately, but I do just want him working his way up. Hit Row, I want to be huge. I want them to be everywhere. Almost to the extent of I want them to have the Nexus effect of coming in, wrecking everything, and then leaving. Except they don't lose at SummerSlam this time. Gallus, push to the moon. I want to pretty quickly take the tag belts off of AJ Styles and Omos. AJ Styles should be in our main event scene. We don't need him there in the tag team division. Omos can work his way up as well as a Giant. Our women's roster, I am so confident in. I think we have a lot of incredible talent there. I don't know if Rhea Ripley's going to stay champion for long, but we have a lot of options all over the place. Surprisingly, we still have Asuka also. And man, the young talent that we've acquired via trade, via late draft picks. I want emphasis on. I want that first hour of the show almost entirely dedicated to building new talent, rising them up. I already kind of hinted at the stable I want to make with August Gray, Curt, Stallion, Tyler Rust, and of course I'm going to put Malcolm Bivens as their manager. Noam Dar, Teomon, Everrise. I want these guys getting prime time television time, whether it be small vignettes, short matches. I don't care if they kill jobbers every week. I mean, eventually we're going to have to move from there, but I want them to be built up properly and not immediately taken down. So that's the focus. We are rebuilding Raw to be better than ever.
I love it. I love it. So I guess now on to the second premier brand, which is on Friday nights. That would be Smackdown. Immediate plans for your roster. It's looking a little thin.
So what we have lost in depth of roster, we've gained in wrestling talent, in my opinion. You're not going to have a problem with seeing the same guys every week because there are so many talented guys to go at it here. Initially, my thoughts are I want Apollo Crews to drop the belt pretty quickly. You're going to see Angel Garza take the belt off of him. And Apollo and Aziz are going to end up in the tag team division to add depth to our tag team division. We brought the New Day and the Way in to also add to the depth there. You also have Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza chasing as Phantasma is trying to have the hostile takeover. Also, you have the Usos. As I know you probably see outside of our champions, I believe the Usos, Seth Rollins, and Carmella were the only ones that were holdovers on the roster of the non-champions. I also have Becky coming in and taking the title back hostily. And I want her, Charlotte, and Io to be the primary focus of the women's title. Bianca is going to end up in a tag team with Shayna Baszler. And I don't know what I'm going to call them yet, but I definitely want there to be a reference to being like the two strongest, the strongest woman tag. Can't do something like the Glamazons as that's already been done, obviously. But I want them to eventually take the titles off of Tamina and Natalya, because those two women are going to beat the crap out of anybody that Raw or SmackDown has as tag teams in the women's division. And I have long-term plans for Legado del Fantasma to feud with Reigns and the family. Garza's going to have his little involved. He'll be involved. I want him to be a part of Fantasma, but obviously he's also going to be the worker champ initially, as we're gonna have an attempt for a all belts thing, kind of like Undisputed Era did. Guys like Baszler and Pete Dunne, Adam Cole we're gonna get some matches in with guys like Seth Rollins that we haven't seen before. That's really important to me, just to put on the best matches we can put on. Cole eventually also going to be a guy that chases the world title. Pete Dunne is a guy that eventually is going to get that IC title. We could be looking at maybe a 600-day type of reign worker belt type of guy with him eventually. I love Pete Dunne. I would love him to be a world champion one day, but he's probably like fifth or sixth, legitimately fifth or sixth in line on our show right now. Maybe further down even. But we just got guys who could work. And at the end of the day, I think the reason AEW is having so much success and the main products for WWE are not is that half of your show is going to talking and vignettes and weird backstage storylines. Whereas AEW just pumps out the wrestling. Yeah, every once in a while you have an interview, but you have like one interview a night type of thing, like feature a night. When you can pack 7 matches into 2 hours and everybody in those 7 matches can work and tell a story, like that's what people want. People want the action. People don't want the exploding limousines and falling from the sky. I know I acquired Alexa Bliss, but skyscrapers falling on Shayna Baszler and so eventually
the product of our booking prior to this moment is not being recognized anymore. We do not talk about the exploding limousine on Monday Night Raw.
Ooh.
I don't know who you are, but you didn't get blown up in that limousine. So and then finally, like I said, I have every intention of bringing back Southern Cult leader Bray Wyatt. I would like to see them push the envelope with that, where when he wins feuds, like he essentially abducts people and find them as these aimless kind of no-name followers instead of who they've been. Guys like Austin Theory, Gargano, Carmella are all primary candidates to become followers in the cult. And I think it would be cool if we brought back the Friday Night Messiah. I know he was the Monday night guy, but I loved that gimmick with Seth and maybe a feuding churches angle would be a cool angle long term to work with those guys. The Church of Seth and the Bray Wyatt cult could be a lot of fun.
What's your plan, NXT?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. So
Survive.
You've heard of the Big Bang, according to 205. Yeah. We're gonna disband 205 Live. First things first. And that is going to be included in our WCW-esque Big Bang. I think this is exactly what the roster needs. We are about half right now. We have 17. So we are about 50-50 as far as retaining talent and bringing on new talent. So we're going to hit this reset button. Champions are going to keep their titles. And we're going to build some round robin tournaments for gold. We're going to get some like-minded individuals together. We're going to build everybody so that even the talent that sticks around is still being respected. And we're not just focusing on all of this incoming talent. And I think that's the main thing to keep in mind here. I'm going to have we are not going to have a War Games match in this calendar year. I think with the reset, it's too soon to just haphazardly throw teams together just for the sake of a War Games match. We're not going to do that. So whatever pay-per-view it is, it's going to be essentially a night of champions. So we are going to have Karrion Kross, NXT champion. He is going to he's going to take on Roderick Strong. So not the Kyle O'Reilly route. I think that they'll eventually get to. I think that Roddy Strong is a good kind of upper mid card guy. He's a good transitional opponent. Doesn't eat too much with the loss. Because I think eventually we'll get somebody a little bigger on the plate of Karrion Kross. The North American Championship, it will be Bronson Reed versus Big E. And you could play this a number of different ways. Bronson Reed could go over just being kind of like the next big guy, or you could have Big E go over here and Bronson Reed still being kind of, for as seasoned as he is, as far as NXT goes, he's still kind of a young competitor. For the NXT Tag Team Championships, we are going to have a triple threat because the finals of their round robin grouping will be tied. And then their match will go to a time limit draw. So we will have MSK versus Redragon getting back together. So that is Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly versus the War Raiders. And this is going to be a ladder match. It puts everything on display. You're not oversaturating the ring with other various teams or other people that don't have to be in a ladder match. So I think this is an easy way to kind of, protect MSK regardless of how we decide to book this. Kushida will take on Cedric Alexander. I think this is a good opening feud for Cedric Alexander being in the former 205 Live and a former Cruiserweight champion. I think this could be him building a storyline for him to come back, reclaim the division. And then on to our women's side, we are going to have The Way take on Zoe Stark and Saray. I thought about a couple of other teams here. I think it's too early to kind of put the rocket to Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. I think that's where we will eventually be headed. So we could have some tension between Zoe Stark and Saray. That'll branch off into another singles feud, and then we finally get the Mandy versus Dana where we switch over the champion. And then the big women's feud that I have is over the women's championship. It's going to be Raquel Gonzalez versus Dakota Kai. It's going to be, Raquel Gonzalez is going to continue to not give her credit for Dakota Kai helping Raquel retain the NXT Women's Championship, and her ego is going to get big. She's going to get too big for her britches. So then we will eventually get Raquel versus Dakota Kai. I think, though, the smart booking here is to, have Raquel Gonzalez retain in this match, and Raquel is destroying Dakota Kai post-match, and this is when we get a returning next contender for the title. That would be Tegan Knox. She is just about due back from her torn ACL. We still don't have a Lacey Evans on our roster. She's still on maternity leave. We don't want to push a Sasha Banks yet. We are busy having her work with the younger talent, having her build them up. We have not re-debuted Marina Shafir yet. I definitely want to have her involved in what we're doing. So it's more or less getting back on track, continuing to establish both the young and the old talent, the talent that stayed and the talent that came in. And the one person I didn't mention in all of this is kind of the big fish in all this, Edge. We're gonna have him probably at the next big 3 shows. That would probably be the weekend of the Royal Rumble, whatever takeover that is, and then the one for Mania, and then the one after that. So a lot of good things happening, a lot of high to mid card stuff going on. I think this is a brand new, fresh start for NXT.
All right, awesome. This has been a fun time. This is a really cool experiment. I don't know how much more we're gonna dive into this. We do have these rosters I kind of finalized and off, and we might use another creative control to flesh out some more ideas, even though we kind of gave you where our ideas for the roster we're going to go here. Next time on Creative Control, we are going to have our own King of the Ring, and I don't want to spoil too much of that, but this will be another situation where we'll be breaking down by shows, and hopefully we'll be bringing on a 4th member of the PWO family to represent the NXT UK, and it should be a lot of fun. We are really excited for it. Matt, do you have anything to plug while we're here? It's the 23rd of June.
The only thing I ever plug is the WrestleCast, and of course, Next Gen Professional Wrestling. But I'm gonna be honest with you, Ryan's the plug man.
He was gonna get the opportunity.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying I don't have that capability anymore. I'm not good at it.
All right, Ryan, what do you got? What do we got coming down the pipe here at PWO?
So glad you asked. Guys, get on our socials. It's Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Insta, Odyssey. Okay, get on those. A lot of Alvarez versus Meltzer. We are, as Matt alluded to a little bit, we are going to Knoxville over the next weekend. We will be at the Next Gen Wrestling Tennessee show, the Party Bowl, which means some live vlogs, some potential interviews, potential watch along, who knows? But we will have a lot of footage coming your way from that. And then, as Pat already gave us the preview for the next Creative Control on King of the Ring, we are all looking forward to that, as well as some other great Creative Control coming down the pipe. But guys, if you enjoy content like this and you want more of it, it's very easy. You just have to support us. Like, share, subscribe. Ko-fi.com/PWO123. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. For just the price of a cup of coffee a day. None of that Starbucks or Dunkin' or Pete's Coffee. All right, just put it right to PWO. And if you donate, we'll give you a shout out on the next WrestleCast.
All right. Well, that's it for our show tonight. We really appreciate you guys hanging with us. Let us know what your draft grades are. Who won? Who were the winners? Who were the losers? And when we come out with that, maybe we will do a overview show with the members that were not involved, giving their scores. That might be a fun exercise. Get Dwight and Jeff and Mike and Drew in here to score the drafts, and that could be a fun process too. Thank you guys. We appreciate you. Goodbye. Good night.